Cashing a check at Capital One, your questions answered. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the world of checks, specifically whether you can cash them at Capital One. Checks, those trusty rectangles of paper that seem like relics from a bygone era. But believe it or not, they're still quite common, especially for certain situations like receiving payments from employers or government benefits. Now, if you're someone who gets paid by check, or maybe you just have a random check lying around, you might be wondering, can I cash that check at Capital One? That's a great question, and the answer depends on a few factors. So, buckle up and get ready to shred some check cashing confusion. Capital One customer or not? First things first, are you a Capital One customer? Because your banking relationship with them plays a big role in how you handle your check. Capital One customer. If you're a Capital One account holder, things are generally a breeze. You have a couple of convenient options for cashing your check. Head to a branch. Capital One has physical branches across the U.S. You can simply walk in, present your check along with a valid ID, driver's license, state ID, and get your cash. Keep in mind that there might be cashing limits depending on the check amount and your account type. Mobile deposit. In today's digital age, who wants to wait in line? Capital One offers mobile deposit through their handy app. Just snap a clear picture of the front and back of your endorsed check, following the app's instructions. The funds will be deposited into your account within a few business days, much faster than waiting for a mailed check to clear. Not a Capital One customer? If Capital One isn't your bank, cashing your check there gets a bit trickier. Generally, banks are hesitant to cash checks drawn on other institutions, especially for non-account holders. This is because they have no way of verifying the check's legitimacy and protecting themselves from fraud. However, there are a couple of alternatives you can explore. Your bank. The best option is to head to your own bank, where you hold your checking or savings account. They can usually cash your check, though there might be fees involved, especially for larger check amounts. Check cashing services. Retail stores often offer check cashing services for a fee. The fees can vary depending on the check amount and the store's policy. Be sure to compare rates before choosing this option, as the fees can be quite steep. Important tips for cashing checks. No matter where you choose to cash your check, here are some key things to remember. Endorsement is essential. Always endorse the check before cashing it. This involves signing your name on the back, usually on the designated endorsement line. Valid ID is a must. Be prepared to show a valid government-issued ID when cashing a check, especially if you're not a customer at the bank. Review fees. Always ask about any fees associated with cashing the check, whether it's at your bank, a check cashing store, or even using a mobile deposit option. Check age matters. Some banks might have restrictions on cashing checks older than a certain period, typically 6 months. The verdict: Capital One and check cashing. So, can you cash a check at Capital One? The answer is yes, but only if you're a Capital One customer and have a valid ID. For non-customers, Capital One likely won't be your best bet. Remember, always check with your bank or the check cashing service about their specific policies and fees. Consider the convenience and cost factors when choosing where to cash your check. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, stay informed and happy banking.